Hey guys, it's Tash from Undefined Life here. Welcome to my channel. So today I'm sharing a transmission from the Lyran Council and Blue Avians. This is a message I received, I want to say 2 weeks ago, but I was too fearful to share. Not because the message isn't valuable, but because I was fearful of the means through which I received the message, which was a channeled experience, and one which was quite enlightening for me, humbling for me, and also challenging for my ego. Because in having such direct, tangible contact with these beings, my ego is now having to come to terms with the fact that the next stage of my evolution means sharing this aspect of my spirituality. That I am a channel, that I am a conduit, and that I'm here to relay messages from divine beings and from light beings. And that's something that I've been grappling with for some time. And these experiences, these channeled experiences, are not new for me. I had them a lot last year, particularly after my Kundalini awakening in 2019. But I blocked the experiences out of fear. Whenever I felt myself going into an altered state of consciousness, which is what happens for me generally, I found myself shelling up, actively resisting the energy that was coming in, verbally saying, no, I don't want this. And after doing a lot of work with this, having met other people in this community that have these experiences, that are grounded in these experiences, having cleared a lot of fear, this transmission came through very clearly. For those of you that are aware of the Lyran Council or Lyrans in general, they are very, very high frequency beings. I believe they're ninth dimensional. My entire body was vibrating, actually from the moment I woke up, and that's often what happens to me. My entire body will vibrate. And it's like a cosmic call from the universe that I'm being rung, and I need to get ready for an incoming message. That's kind of how it feels. And I woke up vibrating, knowing that I was potentially going to receive some kind of contact or communication. I sat in meditation, and this message came through. And this is a message for light workers, for starseeds, for awakened souls. This is a message for those who have ears to hear and eyes to see what is going on in the world at the moment, that have an understanding of what's unfolding at a deeper level, both physically, the motivations behind what's occurring on our planet, but also the energetic imprint of what is happening. What is the energy of this experience that we're going through as a collective at the moment? What purpose is it serving? Of course, it's serving our awakening. But it is a challenging time. A lot of our human rights, our civil liberties are being challenged. We find ourselves here in the UK, or certainly in England, in lockdown, very strict lockdown, as are many other parts of the world. And so this message came through, I think, at a time when many light workers, many people who are awake and aware and know that their mission here is to anchor the planet in light, are feeling hopeless or are feeling exhausted. This message came through, and it's a message of hope. So let me share the essence of that message with you now. So I'm going to just start with how they opened. They said that there are many that still slumber on the planet at the moment. So there are many people that are still unconscious, still asleep at the moment, and that all that they worship is crumbling. Many humans worship false idols and ideas, but there is a shift occurring that will reestablish balance here on Earth. So I think this is really important because we are living during a time of duality and polarity, when there are those that are awake and aware who can see what is unfolding with the current C-19 jabby jab jab situation can see it for what it is, understand where this roadmap is heading. And there are those that are completely entrenched in the mainstream media narrative that still do not understand or are unwilling to acknowledge the spiritual aspect of their existence and are living asleep and are still, I suppose, chasing the carrot that's being dangled in front of them by their governments and authority figures. When the government says jump, they say willingly, how high? And this is really just, I think, emphasizing that this duality is playing out on the planet right now. And they went on to say that there are beings that do not have benevolent intentions for humanity, as we know, and that they are being supported by forces. And these were their words. They are being supported by forces that have destroyed other worlds. And if you know anything about the Lyran draconian history, you'll know that the reptilians, who are the force fueling what is happening on Earth at the moment, have a track record of conflict and disruption and chaos and pillaging planets and races. This is not new. Humanity is now and has been the target and focus of this for some time. They didn't focus on the forces behind this as much, but they did want to acknowledge that there are beings here that do not have our interests at heart. And the image they showed me after mentioning this was a grip closing. They showed me a grip closing, and they said that this is what it feels like for many on the planet right now. For those, particularly those that are awake and aware, it feels like the grip of these forces is closing in. And I'm going to quote, so I don't sort of misquote what they said, I'm going to quote exactly what was received during this moment. I've written it down because I want to be able to kind of word for word explain exactly what I received. So they said, these beings are closing their grip, but do not struggle. That carries the energy of fear and combat. Be still. The grip is an illusion. Instead, realize that there is no grip if you do not feed it with your energy. So at this point, they also showed me the scene from The Matrix when Neo meets the little kind of Buddhist monk boy who's bending a spoon. And they showed me that scene. And I think maybe I can find the dialogue because I feel like it's kind of important to understand here. So the kid with the spoon says, do not try to bend the spoon. That's impossible. Instead, only try to realize the truth. And then Neo asks, what truth? There is no spoon, the boy replies. And Neo says, there is no spoon? And the boy replies, then you'll see that it is not the spoon that bends, it is only yourself. So I think what they were trying to transmit with this imagery was the idea that at a physical, tangible, mind logical level, it feels like the walls are closing in. We are having our civil liberties stripped. We are having restrictions placed on us. It feels like we're losing the battle, right? It doesn't feel hopeful. We don't feel as though we can express ourselves in a natural way. We are having all of these limitations placed on us in the physical world. And if we identify with this being truth, then it is truth. But what we're being asked to do by these high dimensional beings is to realize that this scenario that's unfolding, this idea that we're having our freedoms taken from us, is an illusion. And what I think this scene with the Matrix illustrates is we're being asked to bypass the logical mind, the left brain thinking mind that wants to try and analyze and work everything out at the level of form. We're being asked to see the bigger picture as souls going through this experience, in realizing that there is no spoon, and that there is no threat, really, because there is only a threat if we believe there's a threat, if we feed it with our fear. And I think this leads really nicely on to the overarching message. And that was really that where attention goes, energy flows. So if we focus our attention on this unfolding reality, and our energy is that of fear, that we are fearful when we go out shopping, we're fearful about who we speak to when we speak to them. If we carry the energy of fear throughout the day, if we are fearful of what's to come, we are going to be met with more of those experiences. Whereas actually they were encouraging me and the people that listen to this message to realize that freedom is not an external circumstance. It's an inner state of being. So I'm just going to repeat that. Freedom is not an external set of circumstances. It's an inner state of being. It's a knowing beyond all doubt that we are sovereign. And this is really what they were showing me, because the way that this message came through was kind of a mixture of visuals and kind of audible communication. So it's hard for me to transcribe. It was hard for me to transcribe word for word. But essentially they were saying that freedom is always ours. It can never be taken from us. So this is, I think, something that's really playing out within the awakened community at the moment. We're having our freedoms taken from us. And at the physical form level, yes, we are having restrictions placed on us that limit our ability to move and do things in the physical world. But true freedom is the knowing beyond all doubt that we are sovereign beings, and that who we really are at soul level can never be touched and can never be destroyed. And I think when we know that, when we own that, we are free. And what I was shown was this kind of image of having everything stripped from us. We could have every single external freedom stripped from us. We could have everything in our lives that we know and love taken from us, and we would still be free. We could be thrown into a quarantine camp for refusing the old, and we would still be free. Because freedom is an inner state. It is a knowing that who we are can never be touched and can never be destroyed. And that is how we are being encouraged by these high dimensional beings to approach humanity's situation at the moment. In the past, whenever humanity has faced conflict or great challenges, we've been reactive. We react with a fear response, with a trauma response. We're being asked to now observe this unfolding scenario, which is very, very difficult. Absolutely is difficult. But we're being asked to observe it now from a higher perspective and realize that it's the challenge itself that is presenting humanity with the opportunity to awaken and be truly free. So actually, when we realize that all that's unfolding right now with the C-19, with the incoming jab, all of these are an opportunity for us to mature spiritually, to go from being children of the earth, or childlike in our naivety, in our lack of responsibility. We are maturing very, very quickly now into spiritual adulthood, and we are being asked to step into our power now. We are being asked to reclaim the power and sovereignty that has always been within us, but that has been quashed during the age of the Piscean age, and that is being that fire of knowing and trust and sovereignty is being lit again during the age of Aquarius, which is what we're living in now. We're living during the beckoning of the age of Aquarius. So we're really being asked now to take a different approach. Reactivity doesn't work. Riots don't work. Protests with lots of anger and rage don't work. Fighting these forces doesn't work. We're just meeting ego with ego. We're playing in at the level of form. That's not what we're being asked to do here. This is a collective situation. This is a collective experience that requires a higher dimensional response. It requires neutrality, and it requires knowing beyond the mind, from the heart, that we are free already. When enough people embody this knowing, embody the knowing that we're already free, we will be free within our physical world too. And this is what they were showing me, and this is what they were communicating with me. And I feel honoured to have gone through this experience. It was quite a long channel. I think I was kind of in that space for about an hour. But it was mind-blowing. And it was one of hope, as you can see, that we are already free. It was a message of hope. But I'm also just going to relay a few of the other things that they mentioned afterwards, which might be of interest for those of you watching. So they did say, I wrote it all down. I was trying to scribble it down while I was receiving it. So they said humanity is at war. It is not a war with bombs and guns as it was on our planets in Lyra. It is a war of the mind and the spirit. Your power lies in your sovereignty. And that these forces underestimate the human potential, because humanity is actually being supported by interdimensional beings like the Lyrans to rise. And they said it's divine will that we will do so. So there's nothing to fear. Humanity, the human race, will prosper, but we have to trust. We have to embody that knowing, and that's how we will manifest it. And they said to stop feeding these forces with fear. Your energy is both your weapon that they use against you and your source of power should you reclaim it. So I think that that's pretty profound. Again, our own energy, so not even something external to us, our own energy, how we choose to focus our energy is either a weapon to be used against us or it's the source of our power. So how do you want to use your energy now moving forwards? Are you going to continue to perpetuate cycles of fear, or are you going to choose a different path that allows you to step in to your sovereignty, your independence, your free thinking, all-knowing self, that there is nothing to be fearful of, that you are already free and that humanity will prosper? It just needs to play out physically. There is a change that is happening now. The old structures and ways of being are crumbling. And it is making way for the birthing of a new way. But that process is messy and it takes time. Can we trust in the space in between the old way being established and the new way? Can we trust? The analogy I often see in my mind is like moving house, right? So you're moving from one house to another house. That process is messy as fuck. You know, you've got to box up all of your stuff. When you're pulling everything out of the drawers and the cupboards, you think, how on earth am I going to sort through all of this stuff and then organize it and then move it and then get it into the new place? And it can feel hopeless when you're surrounded by all of your physical belongings spread out around you. You think, how on earth am I going to make any order out of this chaos, right? So this is the thing. We're in the chaos now, and it's going to get more chaotic before order is reestablished. So we're in the chaos now. We're seeing the chaos unfolding and we're thinking, fuck, how are we ever going to get through this? But all change requires a dismantling and then a reassembling of some kind. So we're just in the dismantling phase at the moment, but it looks messy. And I think that these forces know that their time is coming, that their time in positions of power and prominence is dwindling. And they're like, I often see, I think my guide showed me that this kind of image of a wild animal backed against a wall. They are going all out. They are bombarding us with everything they've got to try and delay this process of awakening and ascension. They can't deny it. That's what wanted to come through. They can't deny it because they've been denying God's will, the divine will, and they can't deny it. They can't delay it. It's inevitable. So trust in your heart, own that every day, own that knowing and work towards it if you're not there already. And I think that brings me quite nicely on to what they were what they mentioned to me about the technologies. So at this point, I had asked them, what are they trying to do? What are they using to disrupt humanity? What are their tools? What are their weapons apart from our own energy? And they said that they are trying to smother the light within using technologies such as G and the old jab. And I asked for more clarity on this. I wanted to know what exactly the jab does, why it's so disruptive. And what they said was, is that the vaccine is, I've said it now, the jab is designed to disconnect the human from source. That's what they told me. It creates an energetic layer of density because of heightened biological activity in a person's system. And they showed me an image which I find very difficult to convey with words, but it was the process of replication. They were showing me a human system, the human body at a cellular level, and there was replication happening all the time. That's what they showed me. And they said that because of this heightened biological activity, a person's body is always working. Their energy is busier, it's more erratic. They are less able to be still and connected within, to the spaciousness, to the stillness, to the consciousness beyond the body. That's what they showed me. So from my understanding, this technology, I think, is most dangerous, particularly to those on the path, not because of the physical ramifications, although there may well be physical ramifications too, but in its essence, it will intercept the awakening process and intercede and disrupt that. And that those that take this technology will be disconnected from source more so than they already are in their unconsciousness. So this is something that I think if you're in this community, you've got people around you that are unconscious, this might be a concern for you. This was certainly a concern for me and a friend of mine who I spoke to actually midway during this transmission, because I was in awe of what was happening, and I wanted to share with this person who has been with me during many of these experiences in the past. And then we asked the council, what can we do with the people in our lives who are not awake, who are not aware, and are not willing to be open to hearing about perhaps the potential negative implications of this technology and of this agenda that's unfolding. What do we do with those people? And the message that came through was very profound. The ego isn't necessarily going to like it, but it's profound, and I think it's absolutely the way forward. And they said, it's simple. Discern what is based in fear and what is rooted in love and trust. So I'll give you an example. My friend who I spoke to during this transmission was about to send his family details about the jab and why it might be harmful to the body. And what the Lyrans were asking us to do was discern, is that kind of communication rooted in fear? Fear of what might happen to our family members if they take it? Fear of our own suffering when we see others around us suffer because of this technology? Is our energy being fueled by fear of what could happen if we don't get this message out there? Or is it being fueled by love? They said, choose the most loving path. Choose the path that is rooted in love and trust. The highest path. That might not be the path that avoids suffering. Love does not equate or is not equal to the avoidance of suffering. Sometimes the most loving thing is also the thing that brings about suffering. For example, if we have to set a boundary with a family member, that's the most loving thing for us to do for ourselves and for that other family member. But initially it could cause more suffering. They could react. Their ego could be triggered, right? So sometimes we have to make choices that in the short term might have implications that are uncomfortable to deal with, but that are rooted fundamentally in love. So they were saying, And they showed me that every single being is sovereign. And that allowing others to make sovereign decisions and loving them for that, even if those decisions don't align with our own, is the most loving thing to do. So I think that this is profound, because I know certainly I've been caught up in the past of this energy of wanting to educate the people around me. Like, there's an agenda, this is unfolding, this is heading down a path that is not good for humanity. We need to wake up now. And I realized when I went into that was fear-based. I was fearful that if humanity doesn't awaken quick enough, it's lost. This process, this ascension process, is stopped. It's over. But that's the human mind and ego that is fearful, because it's the ego that fears death. Who we truly are can never die, of course. So what is there to fear? So then you choose the most loving path instead. Okay, well, if everything that is unfolding is here to serve humanity's awakening, even the suffering, what then is the most loving path? If that means allowing our loved ones to go through this process of interacting with this technology, being very invested in the narrative, this may be their karma. This may be their journey in this incarnation. This may be what their soul needs to learn at this time. It's not for us as sovereign beings to interact with another person's sovereignty. So this was the overarching message, that freedom is always ours because who we truly are can never die, and that we have to respect individual sovereignty, even if those around us that we love and care for are not in agreement with us, and that their way of being doesn't align with our way of being. They are sovereign, we are sovereign, just as we want others to respect that with us if we make decisions not to take the technology. And I call it that deliberately because it's a technology. We have, just as we want to be respected for those decisions to not take it, we also have to respect other people's decisions, that from their state of consciousness, awareness, and understanding at this moment, that's the right choice for them. And to let go of the attachment to the outcome. Because when we are attached to the outcome, i.e., we don't want those people to suffer, we are going to be reactive from a place of fear, trying to avoid suffering. So we are being asked now to let go of the attachment to the outcome, let go of the fears that are keeping us reactive and in states of reactivity and unconsciousness ourselves. We're being asked to step up now, step into our sovereign truth. We are free. We are powerful. We always have been. We always will be. We are pure light. We are pure love. And anything else is not us. So we are here now to witness this unfolding scenario collectively from a heightened perspective, to allow those around us to make choices for themselves and to trust what's right for us and to follow what's right for us above all else, to trust our truth. So I think that that's it for today. I think that that was the bulk of the message from the transmission. I hope it was clear. If you've got any questions or comments, please leave them below. And I look forward to sharing more insights, more experiences, more messages with you as time unfolds. But know that all is well. We are on track. Remember that the grip is an illusion and it's only real if we believe it's real. So be aware of where you're holding your energy, how you're holding your energy, where your attention is flowing, and choose to invest your energy in the things that are going to bear fruit. I love you, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. Take care.